I had a friend, Nick Rockefeller, okay, who was one of the Rockefeller family, and he, when I was running for governor in Nevada, he came to me, introduced himself to me through an attorney, and we became friends. We started talking about things, and I learned an awful lot from Mr. Rockefeller. And one of the things that we used to talk about was the ultimate plan of the banking industry, what they wanted to accomplish. And the goals of the banking industry, not just the Federal Reserve System, but the private banks in Germany and England, all over Italy, all over the world, they all work together. They're all central banks, and they're all part of the Communist Manifesto. You know, central banking is one of the major planks of the Communist Manifesto. We talk about America being a capitalistic country, but yet at the same time we have a central bank that plans everything for us, right? And the graduated income tax is another plank of the Communist Manifesto, right? So right there you have two major planks of the Communist Manifesto that have been brought in because of the Federal Reserve System, okay? So the ultimate goal that these people have in mind is the goal to create a one world government run by the banking industry, run by the bankers, where, and they're doing it in sections. The European currency, the euro, and the European Constitution is one part of it. Now they're trying to do it in America with the North American Union, right? And they want to create a new currency called the Amero, right? And the whole agenda is to create a one world government where everybody has an RFID chip implanted in them. All money is to be in those chips, right? There'll be no more cash. And this is getting me straight from Rockefeller himself. This is what they want to accomplish. And all money will be in your chips. And so instead of having cash, anytime you have money in your chip, they can take out whatever they want to take out whenever they want to. If they say, yo, it's this much money in taxes, they just deduct it out of your chip digitally.
Total control.
Total control. And if you're like me or you, and you're protesting what they're doing, they can just turn off your chip. And you have nothing. You can't buy food. You can't do anything. It's total control of the people.
And that chip's connected to a database that has your purchasing records, what you do, what
everything,
you sell.
Everything is in there, you know? And so they want a one world government controlled by them, everybody being chipped, all your money in those chips, and they control the chips, and they control people, and you become a slave, you become a serf to these people. That's their goal, that's their intentions. You know? And I used to say to them, what's the point of all this? You have all the money in the world you need, you have all the power you need, what's the point? You know, what's the end goal? And he said the end goal is to get everybody chipped, to control the whole society, to have the bankers, the elite people, you know, the bankers and some government controlling the world.
The elite's plan for total control is now fully exposed, and in this video I want to go over all of the information tied back to BlackRock, the IMF, the Fed, and so many other organizations that are actually allowing for this to be accelerated. And of course I will be including some words from Whitney Webb, so definitely stay tuned. And with that being said, welcome to the channel everyone. My name is Nick. For those that are new to the channel, hopefully by the end of this video you do become a subscriber. Let's dive on in real quick, and let's go back to March of this year, where we heard from Jerome Powell, the US Fed chair, saying that we are nowhere near pursuing a CBDC, won't spy on Americans. You know what's funny about this? Back in 2023, when banks started to collapse, we heard from the Fed that liquidity is fine. Strongest ever in the US. That's what we heard, right? And we now know that at the time, liquidity was still extremely constricted. And since then, we have grossly printed a massive amounts of money, which propped markets up, aka we are falsifying liquidity. The liquidity is actually not there. It's just more and more printing, more dollar inflation. It's nonsense. They continue to lie. And the fact that we know that this, right here in front of us, around the US pursuing a CBDC, we know that this is a lie. Let's go back to when we announced sanctions against Russia. It was on March 8th of 2022. Why is this important? Well, because the next day, we got Executive Order 14067. But everyone was distracted by the sanctions against Russia and what Russia was going to do. So this was right behind all of the big mainstream media headlines distracting you from the target. What this is ensuring responsible development of digital assets, aka utilizing DLT to explore CBDCs. They want to push a CBDC, and we know that the United States has been focused on a CBDC. But the thing is that they're not going to call it a CBDC. They're going to call it a digital dollar. It's going to be a stable coin. And we now know this because guess what? Congress, apparently, they passed a bill banning a Federal Reserve from issuing a CBDC, right? So now the Fed can't issue a CBDC. But the problem here is that everyone was believing this because this happened at the end of May, roughly. And what they actually banned was the term. They banned the term CBDC. They didn't ban the Fed from issuing a digital currency. They banned the Fed from issuing a CBDC. Just the term. They didn't even clarify what a CBDC actually is. And we now know that the US is trying to push for a stablecoin because Congress also introduced a bill, and this is a stablecoin bill back in the beginning of May. And this bill is to introduce stablecoins, specifically a government-issued stablecoin. Guess what a CBDC is? A government-issued stablecoin. This is where everyone's education on digital currencies becomes very important. You need to understand what a CBDC actually is. It is a government-issued stablecoin. The difference between a CBDC and a stablecoin is that a stablecoin is issued out by a private company. So if, let's just say Ripple, which is a big player around crypto, is issuing a stablecoin, that's a stablecoin. But if a government is issuing a stablecoin, it's technically classified as a CBDC. But we now know that Congress banned the CBDC. They're going to push for a stablecoin, and everyone's going to welcome this in, a great fashion. They're going to open their arms to it because it's not a CBDC, even though it technically is. And this is all a part of the full plan here. The sanctions against Russia accelerated all of this, and it allowed for this to happen on the back end. This is also why Russia is pushing for a CBDC. This is why all the BRICS nations are pushing for CBDCs. This is also why a lot of the BRICS nations are now warming up to utilizing blockchain, because it is all a part of the plan. Everything that we are seeing around Russia and around, the BRICS, it's all to accelerate this. Now I'm going to play a video clip from Whitney Webb, and this is actually from a podcast titled Controlled Banking System Demolition. Whitney Webb on CBDCs, the World Economic Forum, and Internet Privacy CEO Jamie Dimon. Check this out.
And I think they have more infrastructure to put in place before they want that to happen. So, I think people should essentially consider this crisis is very real. Now is the time to prepare, because there is a lull, but it is a planned lull. And after the lull is going to come a planned controlled demolition.
I was just about to say those words. It sounds like controlled demolition. Well, and people don't realize too, central bank digital currencies are going to involve these big banks. It's not going to be, it's going to be kind of tied entirely with them. So you'll have one account that's maybe a retail account, but another that's tied directly to the government. And it will be, that infrastructure is going to be kind of tied together. Do you know exactly how that'll work? Because obviously a central bank digital currency, some might think, well, that would make the commercial banks obsolete. Why would you need a Chase Bank account if you have a CBDC and an account with the Fed? But it's not like that. There's actually an incentive to have fewer banks, because those banks will have that relationship with the central bank.
Will be allowed to have that relationship.
And you'll only bank with them. How will that work?
Exactly. So I guess the model people can look to for this is actually already been implemented in Russia. So of course, Russia's central bank is working on a CBDC, but there's also the Spur coin that was launched by Sberbank, which I believe is Russia's biggest bank. And I think the Russian government is the majority owner of Sberbank, but the guy that runs Sberbank, Herman Graf, is a devoted, what would you call him? Like a devoted follower of Klaus Schwab and the World Economic Forum, very much pushing for, the use of biometrics as payments and a lot of this other stuff that sort of gets referred to as, a coming technocracy, or the rollout of the fourth industrial revolution. And so it's very likely that JP Morgan is positioning itself to sort of be that equivalent in the United States. For example, you've already had them in the past few weeks openly push for mass adoption of biometric payments. They're going to start making it available to their clients, paying with your face, paying with your palm. Of course, Amazon is attempting to roll these types of payment methods out as well. And then more recently, you have Jamie Dimon in the past couple of days saying that private land, private property should be seized by the government for the purpose of developing so-called clean energy for climate change. So that tells you...
All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakah Quadash. I want to give double honor to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone, and peace and mercy to the 144,000, the rest of the elect. All right, I'm the brother YASHAMIAHLA, back with another quick lesson. Lord willing, is edifying. And without a shadow of a doubt, the elder apostles and the men of Great Millstone are the prophets of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. Right? The word prophet means to say before, but like it tells you in 1 Samuel 9:9, before time in Israel, when a man went to inquire of the Most High, whose name is Yahweh, it says he went to the prophet, which was before called a seer. And when you go into that word seer, and I'm roughly paraphrasing the scripture there, but when you go into that word seer, it says visionary. All right, a visionary is basically somebody who can see, and in particular, see the future. All right, which is the essence of prophecy, which is the testimony of our Lord Yahweh Shai, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, according to Revelation 19:11. So you can see who the prophets are. If your eyes are open, you should be able to see who the true men of the Lord are by now. All right, these prophecies are hot, man. They're speaking. And, a little over 20 years ago, 20, 30 years ago, the elder apostles of Great Millstone, they were speaking about these very same things that we're now seeing concerning CBDC, digital currency, digital economy, cryptocurrency, which is really the same thing. But now these things have become buzzwords and hot topics, current event, hot topics. But before they were current events, they were prophesied onto us. All right, they were seen by the men of the Lord through the Holy Spirit, through the understanding of the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of the Holy Bible, because that's where you're going to find prophecy in. So this particular prophecy that you're looking at on the screen, the mark of the beast, which is the microchip implant, is really speaking right now, because they're getting ready to digitalize global economy. And now that it's not just going to happen overnight. It hasn't been happening overnight. this has been a process. You know, they call it gradualism, conditioning, also predictive programming, because they showed you this in many movies and TV shows and things like that. But you know, we're now seeing it really take flight, so to speak, and it's really beautiful to see, man. You know, it's exciting times. But yeah, you heard the clips, you know, and I put that old clip in there because to show you, you know, I heard about that clip with Aaron Russo, the Alex Jones interview. I learned that through the apostles of Great Millstone. And see, the second clip that I played, which is a more recent video, you know, they're trying to stray away, it seems like, the mind controllers. You know, that's code word. If you're watching Elder Apostle Tahar's videos, you'll know what I mean. The governmente. You know, it's like they're trying to stay away from these buzzwords like CBDC and things like that, because in the event where people may not know what these things are, they may go and try to Google it or go on even YouTube and look it up. The likelihood of them running into one of our videos, especially if they're Israelite, all right, so-called Negro, Latino, Native American of the hopeful elect, they're probably going to come across one of our videos, all right, a Great Millstone brother or apostle or elder's video dealing with that, because, you know, again, that's like a buzzword, the CBDC, central bank digital currency. And let's go do something real quick. I had looked up the Mark of the Beast microchip implant on Google because I wanted a picture for this lesson, so I did that. And then, you know, you could always go to images and see it, right? But I was like, what the hell is this? You know, I know Google has this new AI overview thing. It says there is no biblical basis for believing that the Mark of the Beast is a microchip implant. So I said, what the fuck? You know, this AI is the devil. This is the so-called white man's AI, artificial intelligence. The so-called white man is the devil that the Bible speaks of. He is Esau, Edom, and he is the one who is bringing forth this Mark of the Beast prophecy, all right, this agenda of microchipping the world, you see. But yet he'll tell you, oh no, you know, the Federal Reserve will never implement a CBDC in America. Well, like you saw the clip, man, that's nothing but the snake, the serpent himself, Esau, Edom, being the devil that he is, speaking with that forked tongue. All right, because in other bills, they have it listed as stable coin. All right, the American digital dollar. Because, it's not going to just be one world currency. We are now announcing the one world currency. You know, that'll be too plain. That'll be too obvious. Remember, this thing is coded. All right, Yahweh Shai did not reveal this truth to everybody in the world. So for the majority of the people of the world, they're going to go and trust in the good old Google search engine and this new AI overview that would tell you, well, no, America is not going to have it. You know, no, the dollar will always be there. You know, there will never be a cashless society, X, Y, and Z. But, you know, we clearly see it, man. All right. And that's really the point. If you one of the Lord's elect and you truly believe in the Holy Bible and every word that's written therein, you should be able to see it, man, very clearly. Not even should, man. You better see it. Because if you don't, then there's a problem. Then more than likely the Lord is not dealing with you. You see, but I just wanted to show you that, you know, they're pulling every stop out to try to basically phrase it in a way in which the prophets are not saying it. Or excuse me, let me rephrase what I'm saying. They're trying to phrase it in ways in which the ways how we said it, or the men of the Lord have said it, it don't sound the same. It doesn't sound too similar to basically, you know, people's minds be opened up to what this is all about, really. You see, that's why I see in the spirit, you know, this man's the devil. He's very crafty. The scriptures tell you that, man. And by his own craft and his counsel, the Lord is going to destroy him. So he's doing all of this. You know, I seen another video. I may do a lesson on it. How the United States is trying to pay the Israeli government to basically stop this war, to stop bombing Iran. You can't buy time, all right? You can't buy your way out of prophecy, you know. But that just goes to show you how much of a devil the so-called white man really is. And you know, I hate these people, man. You know, they really are the serpent. You know, they really move like serpents, and you got to be very, really, the spirit of the Lord got to be working with you. But you do have to be very diligent and keen. You know, you got to have that eye salve that the Lord bless you with to really see through these things, because it's gonna happen. All right, it's gonna happen. This is the truth. You know, the mark of the beast is the RFID microchip implant, and it will be implemented worldwide. It will be made mandatory, and that is the hour of temptation that the Bible is talking about, when you won't be able to buy and sell, like the prophecy says. I'll read it quickly. Revelation 13:16, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. What this Google AI shit is saying, there's no biblical basis for believing that. Well, when you go into that word mark in the Greek, it's charagma. And charagma in the Greek language, it means an imprinted mark, all right? An incision, an engraven mark. So how are they going to engrave it? How are they going to insert it or implant it in you? With that hypodermic needle, all right? The chip is the charagma. When you go into the root word of the word charagma, it goes back to the Greek word charax, which means a pale, palisade, a stake, basically a piercing instrument. What the instrument they would use to engrave on the money, because back then they would engrave, you know, coin. They still do, but they would engrave the coins. That was actually called charagma as well. You know, when you go into the root etymology, you go into these words, you know, they would imprint their faces and information, whether it be the year or the Caesar or whatever, a small message on the coin. And you see that these Edomites, they still practice that tradition with their coinage today. And basically, it, you know, once again, dealing with that word, when you go into its roots and the history of it, it actually does have a lot to do with the economy and coinage, you know. But that's the basis right there. You know, you go into the words, you go into the Greek, you look into the history. Also in the ancient Roman Empire, they used to brand slaves, and they would call that what? Charagma. You would bear the charagma, the mark of your owner. And how would they put that mark on you? They would either burn it on you, because that was the ancient world, you know, I forget what that thing is called now. It was like a metal, you know, they would heat it up. It has a name, but I can't remember right now. But they'll put that, or they'll just cut you, you know, going back to the scriptures, kwai. In the Old Testament, that's a Hebrew word for, I believe is mark. When you go into that law dealing with the servant, you know, a Hebrew servant who after 7 years, he's supposed to be freed. But if he doesn't want to be freed, and if he wants to serve his brother, it'll be a fellow Hebrew Israelite, all right? If he wants to serve him for the rest of his days, he will have to get basically an earring. He will have to get an awl. That's what the word is. He will have to get an awl pierced through his ear. So who is this he that is talking about here that's going to be marking people? All classifications of people, small and great, rich and poor, free and bond. That's the so-called white man, the devil, Esau, Edom. And really, it's the bankers. It's the ones who actually own the world through debt, according to Proverbs 22:7. And in the law, if you indebted to somebody, now remember, you're supposed to have the year of Jubilees to release people from their debt if they can't pay, all right? But between those 7-year periods, if a person was not able to pay their debt, they would have to basically work for you. They would have to, you know, basically pay it off by working. All right. And that's what these people in the world have become to the bankers. All right. Including whole entire nations, countries have become servants to the central bankers through debt, through borrowing central bank currency, which, you know, could come in any form, you know, the yuan, the US dollar, the Jamaican exchange, whatever it's called in whatever country you're in, is all coming from the same nation of people who are the Edomites, according to the Bible. They're the international bankers, the banking families. That's the he that it's talking about. That's going to basically bring this thing forth. They're going to make it a law. He causeth all. When you go into that word causeth, it means to make someone do something, and not by force wise, but meaning to cause something to happen, meaning to basically make it a law. All right, because yeah, they're not going to force you to do it. They're not going to tie you down and stab you with microchips. All right, you have to make a choice. You're going to have to consent to receiving it, but the whole point of it is that the choice that you're going to have to make is going to be so hard. That's why the scriptures call it the hour of temptation, because basically you're either going to have to choose to take it to live, all right, to buy and sell, as it says, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Or you're going to have to choose to basically live off the grid and not be able to basically buy anything. Like I said, buy or sell anything. So you're going to be exiled from this world, because this is the so-called white man's world. If you didn't know that, Job 9:24, the earth is given to the hand of the wicked. All right, and the wicked, mainly, again, the top of the wicked are the elites, the wicked elite, the bankers. They're the ones who own this world. They're the ones who control this world through BlackRock, Vanguard, and different, subgroups. They control all the earth's resources damn near. So basically, that's going to be the temptation. How are you going to eat? How are you going to get resources to live? You got to trust in Yahweh YASHAMIAHLA. The scriptures tell you that, man. Isaiah 65:13-14. Those that serve the Lord, they're going to have food and water in that day. They're not going to be thirsty. They're not going to be hungry. All right, so it's by faith in Yahweh YASHAMIAHLA. All right, and Yahweh, being the one that said that in Revelation 3:10, that he would keep us from the hour of temptation. It's faith in that that's going to sustain us. All right, matter of fact, it's a perfect segue. I'm going to read verse 4. I was going to get Habakkuk 2 and 3, but this is spirit. I'm going to read verse 4 first. It says, Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by his faith. All right, who's the soul that's not upright in him? First and foremost, it's talking about the so-called white man. All right, he's crooked. His spirit, the heavenly Father, created him to be the wicked, according to Proverbs 16:4. When you go back to the Genesis of Esau, Genesis 25, the birth of Jacob and Esau, it tells you how it was going to be two manner of people separated. All right, even though they were twins in the womb, fraternal twins, that is, they were going to be separated out of the womb and have two different personality types, two manner of people, two different mannerisms, two different spirits. One spirit of the righteous, which is Jacob, which became the nation of Israel. Today, you so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. And one spirit of evil, all right, the wicked, which is Esau, Edom, the so-called white man and his seed line, which includes Europeans, American Edomites, Russian Edomites. They go under many different false names, names that they made up for themselves. But they're really the Edomites. And yeah, there's different tribes of Edom as well. But, it says his soul is not lifted up. His soul, which is lifted up, meaning, like it says, look at the proud. These people are the most proud. The scriptures tell you that in Jeremiah. I believe it's the 50th chapter. It says the most proud. Who is that referring to? Esau, Edom. Their soul, which is their spirit, is not upright. They're lifted up, they're proud, but it's not upright. And that word upright is Tazadak, or it probably is Yashar there. Let me see. Or Yashar. Yasar, upright. But it basically means righteous. Let me click on it. To be right, be straight, be level, upright, be just, be lawful. And look, to be smooth. And that it said Jacob was a smooth man. That's what it was referring to. To go straight, to be pleasing. Pleasing who? Yahweh YASHAMIAHLA. So it basically means to be righteous. He can't be righteous. He's not righteous. Nothing this man says or does or thinks about is righteous. But it says the just shall live by his faith. Who is the just? That would be your word. Let me see what it says here in the Hebrew. Sadak. Oh, no, excuse me. Well, that's, according to their fucking Yiddish. That shit got me confused. That's Tazadak. All right? Should be Tazadak, which means just, lawful, righteous. So who is the righteous according to the scriptures? The nation of Israel, the ones who was given the law, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh YASHAMIAHLA to be righteous. See, so it said we're going to live by faith. So that's how we're going to get through the time of Jacob's trouble. That's how we're going to get through the hour of temptation. That's how we're going to be able to, Lord willing, be found worthy to escape and basically be able to see the day of our Lord Yahushua when he returns with the so-called UFOs, all right, the chariots of heaven, the angels, to save the elect. See? So don't worry about how you're going to eat without a microchip. You eating right now without a microchip, ain't you? And that shows you right there. That proves that prophecy, the mark of the beast, has nothing to do with sin in all its forms or an embargo and anything else. It's the microchip. Because how do you buy and sell now? With central bank currencies. How are you going to buy and sell then? With central bank currency. What's the difference? It's going to be digital currency. What's the difference? That digital currency is going to need to be on a digital device in order for you to spend it. In order for you to interact with the RFID readers when you go to Walmart. You never seen when it says no cash? So how are you going to buy and sell when there's no cash? Well, you got a cell phone right now, right? What does your cell phone has? It has an RFID chip in it. That's how it's interacting with the reader through RFID technology. So it's already here, man. We already living and partaking in a digital economy. And that hawk is going off right now. Shalom. But yeah, man. You know, that's how we buying and selling now. So how are you going to turn that into something spiritual, man? This prophecy is a physical thing. Now, let me read the scripture that I really wanted to get, which is Habakkuk 2 and 3. For the vision is yet for an appointed time. What's the vision? Once again, going back to the visionary, you know, the man who could see. The prophets of Israel. Those are the men who Yahweh Shai allowed to see the future. All right, which is in the form of prophecy, which came in the form of visions and dreams. You see, what vision are we talking about in this particular lesson? The mark of the beast. You have visions of America being destroyed, Babylon the Great being destroyed by fire, World War III. That's another vision. That's for appointed, is yet for an appointed time. America can't be destroyed until the chip comes, because that's a sequence of the Lord's prophecy. He measured time. Right. As a matter of fact, let me get it real quick. And I'm going to come back to this, Lord willing, 1 Corinthians 13 real quick. But 2nd Esdras, I believe it's 14 and 37. No. Let's just type it in then. 2nd Esdras 4 and 37. It says, by measure have he measured the times, and by number have he numbered the times, and he doth not move nor stir them until the said measure be fulfilled. So that's what it says. The vision is yet the prophecy, all right, future events, future time periods that the men of the Lord saw, right, is for an appointed time. The vision is yet for an appointed time. This vision is for a future time. See? So it's measured out already. The Lord already knows how he's going to do things. See, we want this to just happen already. We just, you know, we're in these bodies and, you know, we suffering. We crying out to the Lord to just complain continually. You know, the men that sigh and cry. We want this thing to happen, but the Lord is doing it in his time. See, he's not going to move or stir them. He's not going to just destroy America tomorrow just because we've been praying and we suffering and we crying out. No, this, you know, things are for appointed times. The chip has an appointed time and date and when they're going to make it mandatory. They can't just make it mandatory without bringing forth a digital economy first. It just doesn't work that way. It wouldn't make sense. It wouldn't be possible. So these are the steps that they're taking, all right? Signing Executive Order 14, or HR, I believe it. No, it was House Resolution, 14607. You know, to basically centralize, to basically allow the American government to centralize a digital currency instead of it being like how it is now with the cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin, Ethereum, etc., Dogecoin. These things are basically somewhat of a free market. It's not centralized. Nobody's really so-called in control of it. And we know, you know, that's, I say that loosely. I say so-called because it didn't just come out of nowhere, but, you know, that's the wiles of Satan, man. But it's basically not coming from the central bank. That's what they mean by centralized. So they're saying they're promising that the Federal Reserve will not basically push out a CBDC to America, but then they have another bill saying that they're going to make a stable coin. Make it make sense, man. You know, who you going to believe? The prophets of Yahweh Shemiah Shai or the devil? You going to believe the Lord and what he already gave to the Apostle John, the vision of the mark of the beast? Or are you going to believe these people telling you, no, 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 the mark of the beast is not the chip? No, 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 we're not going to do that. We're not going to, no, that's crazy. That's conspiracy theory. You know, you got to fucking choose, man. And really, the Lord is going to choose you if you wanted his elect. The Lord chose his elect, and that's it. Only the elect is going to understand this thing. So that's how we could know. Well, if we telling the dude the mark of the beast is the chip, and he's saying, no, well, it's slavery. I mean, it's sin, excuse me. Well, then he's probably not the elect, man. And there's no point in trying to continuously break it down to him and waste your time when you're already doing these videos. This is not a waste of time. Doing these videos is to edify the elect. Like the apostle always said, you got a question, all you got to do is put it on YouTube. Put Great Millstone, type in whatever question you have. You're going to find a video on it if the Lord is guiding you. But these guys, they want to go back and forth. They want to have debates. Let's debate about the mark of the beast. Why should we have to debate if we're doing videos on it and it's all over the world? And the prophecy is speaking, like it says, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Why should we debate you when the prophecy is already speaking to you? But you just can't hear it because you're deaf, you're blind, you're dumb. So why the fuck would we waste our time in a senseless debate when the scripture even tell you not to even do that in the first place? But why would we waste our time debating you when it's already speaking, man? We already here. And if you can't see it, then you blind. The hell you going to try to show somebody that's blind? Why are you going to go out of your way to try to keep showing them something knowing they can't see it because they blind? No, this is for the elect, man. These videos go out for the elect of the nation of Israel, the ones who can actually hear the prophecy speak and see it coming to pass, you know, and not lie. It said, though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry. See, so nothing has tarried. It is not tarrying, it's not prolonging. I'm going to read in the NLT. It describes the end, and it will be fulfilled. If it seems slow in coming, wait patiently, for it will surely take place. It will not be delayed. Because if it ain't here yet, then it ain't the end yet. It's that simple. It describes the end. This vision is for a future time. It describes the end, and it will be fulfilled. So if we're not seeing it yet, it's not the end yet. It's that fucking simple, because the visions, the prophecies that we're reading about are for the end. They weren't for the middle. They weren't for the beginning. It wasn't for the close to the end. It was for the end. You see? The book of Revelation, isn't that the last book in the Bible? Doesn't mean everything written in that book is all dealing with the end time. Some of those prophecies have already come to pass. But specific prophecies, there's specific visions that the prophets have that are strictly for the end. All right? And it's not, you're not going to see it. I mean, right now we are. That's why I want to end off with this. But you won't be able to see it actually happening until it actually happens. It's really just that simple, man. It's a simple concept. It's self-explanatory. You know, it doesn't need much explanation. If it's there, it's there. If it's not, you got to wait. You see? This is 1 Corinthians 13:9. For we know in part and we prophesy in part. So we could only tell you what we know, what is according to the scriptures. All right, we know they're going to implement the mark of the beast. That's a guarantee because it's written in the Bible. The words of Yahweh Shemiah Shai are faithful and true. Now, what is the mark of the beast? That's prophecy. That's where the prophets come into effect in this generation. The spirit of the prophets, once again, subject to the prophets. That's where the prophets will be back to interpret the vision, tell you what it means, and then we all have to wait. We all watching and waiting for it to come to pass. You see? But we only know it in part. The Apostle John couldn't put the word RFID in the Bible, man. How could he put the word RFID chip in the Bible if there was no such thing as an RFID chip at that time? What he saw in a vision, he gave it to you the best way he could. He described it using the words at the time, the best way that he could. You see? So he knew in part. He prophesied in part. But guess what? But when that which is perfect is come, then that which is in part shall be done away. So we tell you that the mark of the beast is the RFID chip, but it's the RFID chip. That's what it's called today. They're not calling it the mark of the beast. The so-called white man's not going to say this is the mark of the beast. So that's, you can't even really, you know, I got to choose my words carefully, but him saying that, I got to, you know, gather my thoughts. I'm getting excited, man. It says, then that which is in part shall be done away, meaning we actually could see it now. It's not in part anymore. Like when John saw it, it was in part. He didn't really understand what he was seeing. He said, what, you know, they was getting something implanted in them and they was using it to buy and sell. He didn't know about CBD. He didn't know what the fuck a digital currency was. We know what it is now, man. We know now. That which is perfect is come. The prophecy is speaking, is being fulfilled. We're able to understand it perfectly, man. It's not anything else but the chip. All right? And these people saying that, oh, they're not going to do a CBDC. Trump saying he's going to make sure America never has a CBDC. That's all the trickery and the wiles of Satan, the devil, man. All right? Because they will bring forth a digital currency. They just say, oh, well, we didn't say we wouldn't bring forth a digital currency. We said we wouldn't bring forth a central bank digital currency, which they're just going based on semantics. That's what that's called. All right? They're dealing with semantics. Dealing with, oh, well, we said central bank digital currency. We never said nothing about a stable coin. See, shit like that, man. So that's what, if that's what it's going to take, you know, you people is getting all caught up in these semantic words and, you know, you listening to all these different camps and your faith just ain't there. The Lord, you know, the Lord's not allowing you to see it, man. It's here. It's already here, man. It was already prophesied. The apostles already interpreted the prophecy through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shai. But even when they said it, we didn't see all this news and current events that we seeing now, man. So we even getting a more clearer understanding of what they were talking about. They're getting a more clearer picture and understanding of what they prophesied about in part as it is playing out, because it has to play out. How else are we going to know, okay, this is the prophecy that it was speaking about? It has to play out. That was the point of why I read Habakkuk 2 and 3. It has to play out. You have to be able to see it. It's going to speak to you. Matter of fact, let me see something real quick. I want to see what that word speak says. I'm pretty sure I know what it is. I think it's debar. It's not. Look at that. To breathe, to incite, to inflame. See? So this thing is basically alive now. Just like I said, they had power to give life to the image of the beast. It represents what? Them bringing forth their new world order. It's not only just an idea anymore. It's not just words that they were saying, yeah, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. They're doing it now. We're living in a time when these things are being fulfilled. So if you're at the point where you're there now, you end the fucking prophecy and you still can't see that you're in it, there's a good chance you're not the elect. There's a good chance you're not ever going to get this, man, and you're going to take that microchip. You're going to be destroyed. The Lord is going to kill you. It don't matter if you know you're an Israelite or not. If you can't see these things, even just understanding these things is a defense, man. It's a stronghold. Trusting in the name of Yahweh by Simeon Dominicans, knowing this truth is a defense. Because this world, they're not going to tell you nothing, man. You're going to try to Google it. Oh, no, don't worry about it. You know, we're not going to do that. That's, you know, that's a conspiracy theory. The mark of the beast is not the chip. Look what it says here for one of the reasons why there's no basis. The original audience would have not understood the text as referring to RFID chips. Because there was no such fucking thing as an RFID chip. No fucking duh. How the hell would he know what an RFID chip is if that didn't exist until just in this lifetime, recently, that it was created? How? How would he have possibly known that? No fucking duh. He was prophesying in part. He knew in part. He knew according to the vision that was given to him, which was he saw people buying and selling with a device. That's what he saw in his vision, man. And if you can't see it, you're fucking blind, because it's happening right now before your eyes. Look at Sweden. Are they not buying and selling using microchips? And you just wait until it's mandatory. And by then it's going to be too late for those of you that don't have faith. Because what does the scripture say? Matter of fact, this is going to be the last one that I'm going to read. Hope and faith is synonymous, right? Romans 8 and 24, for we are saved by hope. I just read that in Habakkuk 2 and 4. 2 and 4. Yeah, the just shall live by his faith. All right. That's how we're going to be saved. That's Ephesians 2 and 8. And that's how we're going to live. That's how we're going to survive. But hope that is seen is not hope. For what a man seeth, why doth he yet hope for? So like they say, seeing is believing. But what did the Lord say? Blessed are those that believe and have not yet seen. So by the time this thing comes and you could see it, oh wow, yeah, there is a microchip implant to buy and sell. If you didn't believe that was a mark of the beast now, more than likely you're gonna fall into that temptation